Welcome to the training video covering Foundation School Programs known as FSP. Here you will be shown how to enroll a student into an FSP program such as Gifted and Talented or ESL, how to make adjustments to a student's enrollment, and how to exit a student from an FSP program. There are a few features that make WebSmart ideal for tracking FSP program enrollments. First, all entries are date-driven. You will get a chance to see this in action in a bit, but basically that means every time information related to a student's involvement is recorded, it directly reflects the time spent by the student in the program. This also ensures proper reporting for funding purposes, meaning that what is reported to the state matches the student's actual enrollment history. Second, we have a collection of reports geared to fulfill the needs that are associated with FSP program enrollments. These allow you to easily verify that all required data recorded on the students is accurate. Let's look at adding a student to Gifted and Talented. First, we select the student from the Student Manager. Second, we open the Other Programs screen. Next, we use the Query menu in the FSP Program Enrollment portion to select the desired program. In this case, we'll select GT. If we were recording a different FSP enrollment, we would simply select the other instead. Now we can record the program enrollment dates by clicking on the Change Status button. On this screen you will notice there are two date fields to record the start and end date. The first date field should be the student's first day receiving services in the program. This can be entered manually or by using the calendar icon. When the student is entering the program, you will leave the to field empty, indicating the student is currently enrolled. The last step is to update the enrollment. This records the program enrollment history. Please note that the duration shows the start date to present. Now let's look at another example. Let's say you need to enroll a student into an ESL or bilingual program. We will open the same screen on the student. However, ESL and bilingual have additional information that must be recorded to remain PEIMS compliant. First, we must code the student's LEP status or Limited English Proficiency. We do this by clicking on the Change Status at the top of the screen. We now select the LEP indicator, in this case 1. We must then select the appropriate parental permission code. These are maintained in the PEIMS Data Standards Code Table C093. There is a link to the data standards on the WebSmart help screens for your convenience, as well as written directions for coding LEP and entering FSP program enrollments, which can be printed. In this case, we will select code B. The effective date should be the date the student was identified as LEP. It's important to note that if the date is not the same as the original date, it will now show two records on the student. Do not delete the previous record. The student's LEP history should cover the student's entire enrollment at the district. Once we have coded the LEP status, we can record the FSP program enrollment. We will now use the Query menu to select the desired program, either ESL or bilingual. This must match with the parental permission code used on the LEP status above. For this example, we will use ESL. We will then click the Change Status button. Now we must select the program type. With ESL, our options are content-based or pull-out. This should reflect how the student is receiving their ESL services. Again, we will set the start date to the day services began. And we will leave the to date empty to show the student is currently being served through the program. The last step is to update the enrollment. This records the program enrollment history. Now, using the same student, we will look at how to make adjustments to an enrollment when a student's services change. This would apply to students whose FSP program has a program type, like if an ESL student moves from content-based services to pull-out-based services. First, we make sure we have the Query menu set to the appropriate FSP program. Now we will use the Change Status button to record the change in the student's enrollment from one program type to the new one. We must also supply the date at which the new services begin in the effective date. We can then update to record the change. You should now see two lines for this student's enrollment history in ESL. The original entry with program type 2 content-based with its enrollment dates, and the new entry with the new program type of 3 pull-out and the start date to present. Lastly, we need to look at how to handle the student's data when the student's no longer being served in an FSP program. We refer to this as exiting the student. To exit this student from the ESL program, we will click the Edit button on their current enrollment. This allows us to enter the stop date or the last day the student was served by the FSP program. Then we simply update to record this and save the record on the student. The exiting process uses the Edit button. This is the only time this should be used, with one exception. If data was entered incorrectly, you would use the Edit button to correct the data. All other entries should use the Change Status button. Now let's move to reports. WebSmart provides reports to assist you in the verification of your FSP data. Currently, these reports are available to you in the Legacy Reports group. As reports are updated and upgraded, you will find them in a new section. We have the FSP Attendance Summary, and it gives you all attendance figures for a given date. The FSP Student List allows you to query for students enrolled in specific FSP programs on a specific date. We also have the FSP Program Details Report. This report gives a comprehensive report detailing all hours and all student enrollments from the first reporting period until the given effective date. This is a very useful report. As you can see, it gives a large selection of information. And last, another major report that has been of great use is our LPAC extract. This allows verification of all students, their home language, their ESL enrollment status, their left status, and parental permission codes if applicable. This too is a very good resource. And it does run to Excel, which allows for custom filtering. We thank you for your time, and please check back with us for more videos covering additional programs and more changes to the system. Thank you.